Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to another one of my live streams, and welcome to another installment of Sober Talk. Sober Talk Live, that is. Tonight, we're going to talk about sobriety. Hey, my goodness, Ron, you're already here, my man. What's going on? Welcome to the live stream. You got your blue wrench after all. One of the things that YouTube had to update. It's good to see you. I hope everybody who comes in tonight is having a wonderful evening. I know I am. Any day above ground is a great day to be sober. What's going on, Lewis? How you doing, Jamie? You know, I'm going to just go ahead and say it since we're already live, and I'll say it again throughout the chat. Today has been a great day. I woke up this morning and I found it not necessary to take a drink. And you know, any day that happens is still truly a miracle. Any day I can wake up and say, and not take a drink. That's a miracle, my friends. So today has been an interesting day. I've spent a lot of time editing. I am getting severe eye strain from looking at the computer, and I know, Ron, you suggested that I get some shades and everything, and the shades, getting these one shades, but I gotta have my reading glass. Yeah, I gotta have my glasses on. I'm blind without it. I can't see diddly squat without my glasses. So it'd be interesting. It's right up on it anyways. Be all right. So. Already see a total of 3 people in the chat, 3 likes. I imagine everyone will start making their way over here tonight. That's just the awesome thing about Sober Talk. You'll find that there's a little something for everybody. We all know someone that either A, is a drunk, B, we have a friend that's, we know somebody who knows a drunk, related to him, whatever. And then, of course, there's always that one side that sometimes we are the drunk, And whether you're in recovery or you're sitting on the fence, thinking about going back out there, I hope somewhere in this live stream that you find a reason to maybe stick around, get sober yourself, or can at least, it's all good. It's all good. Welcome, Miss Kelly. Welcome to the live stream. It's good to see you. Maybe there's something in there that may help someone Maybe you could take away something, maybe help you with a little bit of understanding and dealing with your alcoholic loved one, whatever the case may be. And I will say right now, try not to compare their story to mine because, yeah, the stories are the same, but the details change. That's how it goes with us alcoholics. Again, it's so good to see everybody here tonight. So many wonderful people already here in the live stream. The first 10 minutes, we kind of get caught up with everybody. How are all of you doing? How am I doing? Like I said, I got a massive headache from editing all day today. Headache, I'm going to have to stop. Going to have to stop and take it easy for the night. Got on camera a little while ago, did some editing there. A lot of good stuff today. And of course, I'm trying out a new recipe for urban survival. It's working out pretty good. That's true. I was going to say, put your addiction down, and of all the things, good things can happen. Hey, there's our friendly volunteer city police officer who patrols the area regularly around these hours. He always comes through and makes sure that no one's bothering the project cars. Hey, Queen Bee, welcome to the live. I was going to say, you got to come in here, Queen. Haven't seen you hardly at all. I know you and TFZ been spending a lot of time together. Chevy, welcome to the live, my friend. Yeah, we have the Bonterre City PD who comes around regularly and basically watches out for the project cars. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Man, you guys are awesome. Talk about an amazing stream we got ahead of us tonight. We got a lot of people that are, maybe their very first Sober Talk live. And to kind of give you a heads up, I tell you about my experience, strength, and hope. Welcome, Miss Kitty. Welcome to the live stream. Oh, hubby's live? Okay. And you're going to be poking in to make sure I'm not getting into too much trouble. And that's our queen bee. We love her to pieces. Wouldn't have her any other way. So if you're fairly new to Sober Talk, I'll tell my experience, strength, and hope from, hey, Sean, welcome to Live. Good to see you, Sean. Uh, I'll be, sharing my experience, strength, and hope in Alcoholics Anonymous. And for those that do not know, my sobriety date is February 7th, 2006. That's when I got sober. That was my first sober breath in a minute at that time. So I'll be sharing a lot of experiences from that time frame all the way up to current date, as much as I could share, because, there's an old saying in Alcoholics Anonymous: you share what you need, but you save the details for your sponsor. Because we all sick with something. So I'll be sharing those experiences with everyone. So I know that I did promise. I forgot who it was, but I said I promised I was going to tell one of the most inspiring but yet gut-wrenching stories. So I'll be putting myself through that experience again of sharing that very painful story tonight. When I go to share that story, the main thing that I want you to take from it is I stayed sober. Okay. So I hope that you all get a little something out of that story. About the first 10 minutes of the stream, like I said, we just get caught up with everyone. Shout out to our, the Sonny's now working with the members of the Eclipse, and one big giant happy family hanging with each other, raiding and hanging out and just building each other up. Because I'll tell you what, there's a big giant world sitting right out there waiting to tell me what I'm doing wrong. I always need to hear what I'm doing right. So I look for all of you to help me with that. I'm a selfish alcoholic. It takes every last member of Alcoholics Anonymous to help me stay sober. There you go. Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate that. There's a whole giant world out there, waiting to tell me what I'm doing wrong. I need all of you to tell me what I'm doing right. Build me up so I could keep going just another 24 hours. Because that's all we got. That's really all we got, is just this 24 hours. That's really it. If you think about it in a nutshell, we get up, that's all we're promised, is that 24 hours. And that's not a full guarantee. So whatever your higher power is that you believe in, that's what they give you to work with. Okay? And you got to make the most of it. Grab each day. As a matter of fact, an old member of Alcoholics Anonymous, when I was 7 months sober, actually said in a meeting, he said, today is a gift from God. What you do with today is your gift to God. So let's make it a masterpiece. So that's exactly what we're going to do in this. We're going to make it a masterpiece today. That's what's up. Oh, yeah, I drink my coffee. Got my coffee right here. You want me to read from the big book? Oh, man. We might. We're still alive, a little buffering. We're okay. We're hanging in there. I appreciate every last one of you being here with me tonight. Like I said, this is the live stream that we talk about sobriety. I promise that I will tell some stories, and I'll share what I've learned from the 12 steps. Again, some people kind of struggle with, those 12 steps. So we got a lot of wonderful people here, some members from the Eclipse. We've got members of the Sonnies, and then some long-standing members of the channel. You all are the Maverick Nation, and I require every last one of you to continue to help me stay sober too. So I'm a selfish alcoholic, and there's over 1,000 of you strong. That's pretty doggone selfish. Gosh dang, when you think about it. But this is still a life and death situation, so it's perfectly okay. Okay, it's all about saving your life today. And I need all of you to help me save my life, All right. So it's now at that 10-minute marker since the stream began. Let me start right out of the gate. Again, my sober date is February 7th, 2006. So as of August the 7th, when I turned 41, oh God, I'm getting old. No, it's all right. When I turned 41, I was also celebrating 14 and a half years without a drink or a drug. The only thing I take is over the counter what a doctor prescribes me. I still smoke cigarettes and I still drink a lot of coffee. That's really all I do, you know? Um, so that being said, you know, does life stop? Does the excitement stop when you get sober? Hell no. If anything, it gets more exciting when you get sober. If you will, but that doesn't mean that everything's, peaches and cream and everything turns ooh la la. It doesn't really. I'll tell you all straight up honest. Okay. Um, I've experienced loss in sobriety. I've experienced a lot of loss in sobriety, but I've had a lot of successes in sobriety. I've had greater successes in sobriety than before I got sober, but I still had those too, you know. So just bear that in mind as we continue into the live stream. Let's start off with the story that I think that everyone really needs to know. Okay. Again, we told my sober date. And when I got into, what drove me into sobriety, I was still with my high school sweetheart at the age of 26. I got sober at 26, which is kind of unusual. Uh, you know, so getting sober at 26, going into an AA meeting for the first time, I really felt out of place. Let me tell you, I felt very out of place, like I didn't belong. I'm too young to be an alcoholic. What the frick? Not true. I've actually talked to someone and met in person a woman that got sober at the age of 14. And when I met her, she was 55. So bear that in mind. If any of y'all think you're different, you ain't that different. Okay. But what drove me into Alcoholics Anonymous, I was with my high school sweetheart, and she had enough of my shenanigans, from the drinking and everything. And what ends up happening is I just got through working a 16-hour shift and came home to an empty apartment. My high school sweetheart had packed up my two daughters and left. She was done with my ass. Okay. So I came home to an empty apartment and I rushed around trying to find signs that maybe she was just trying to make a point that I needed to change my ways, those sort of things. And everything said the contrary. And I came to the middle of the kitchen. Oh, what's up? Think different. That's my boy right there. Um, you know, I, came to the middle of the kitchen, collapsed to my knees and said, how could it have gotten this bad? I'd like to tell y'all I was hip, slick, and cool. And I got sober that second. I went on a 2-day bender. At the end of the 2-day bender, I decided that I was done with life. I couldn't go on. I took a loaded 357 Magnum, tilted my chin back, cocked the hammer, and I was ready to do it. As a matter of fact, to tell you how serious I was, I actually loaded into my 357 MagTech Guardian Golds 125 grain jacketed hollow points. As a matter of fact, when those rounds would leave the muzzle, it was a 12-inch fireball coming out of the end of that barrel. So that should actually tell you how serious I was. And a 357 round at that range, at that close of a range, would go in the size of the end of my pinky and would take out the entire top of my head. That's a story in itself. I'll have to tell that one sometime. So I knew exactly how I was going to do this. And now the screwed up part of it is I loaded all 6 chambers. Thank you so much, Mike. Good to see you, Mikey. Glad you're with us. So, to tell you how messed up I was really on autopilot. So I loaded all 6 chambers. But in AA meetings, I would always make the joke, I loaded all 6 chambers and it only takes one. So I guess I thought I was going to miss. And if I'm going to miss that close, maybe I shouldn't be trying suicide. And I'll say that in meetings a lot of times. But the real truth of it is I was so upset. I was hungover. I was just on autopilot. Now that I've said that, what ends up happening is I then I'm sitting there, I'm getting ready to squeeze that trigger. That's a hair trigger when you got that hammer cocked on that pistol. And the phone rings. And I jumped and almost pulled that trigger. Not meaning to. Almost did. It should have went off. It didn't. And even still, even at that close, it would have killed me. It would have killed me. But that's not the case, obviously. Otherwise, you'd be talking to my ghost. But that isn't the case. So, that being said, I don't know why to this day, but I had picked up the phone. I answered the phone of all the things. And it was a friend of mine named Tanya. Now, let me give you a little back history on my friend Tanya. I used to work with this gal in the medical field. And for those that don't know, I'm retired as a CNA, CMT with insulin certification, cross-trained as an occupational therapist, and specialized in Alzheimer's and dementia. I have not been in a classroom since I was 24. And again, I'm 41 now. So I'm retired from the field after my stroke. But anyhow, back to Tanya. She was, her and I worked together, and we actually had a little clique of friends that we were all very close. And it was Tanya. She said, Prince Magnum, what are you doing right now? I said, I'm sitting here on the couch. And she knew everything that was going on at that time. She said, what are you really doing? I said, I'm sitting here on the couch with my 357 Magnum. I'm feeling hungover. I was just about to end it. And like a good friend, she's like, will you put that thing up? I said, well, shouldn't I uncock the hammer and unload it first? And she's like, yes, you smart ass. Put that dang thing. What the hell's wrong with you? And then from there, after I, unloaded the gun and everything, put it up, she then proceeded to do what any good non-alcoholic friend would do. She chewed my ass out for a half an hour. Then she talked me into outpatient treatment. At the outpatient treatment center, they sent me to Alcoholics Anonymous. Hey, I understand, Lewis. You go enjoy dinner. Tell me how it turned out. All right? That's what's up. So then she said, that's right, Sean. All good here, So that part of the story is pretty well common knowledge. Everyone knows I went and got sober. I have no experience with relapse. Not saying that anyone who does is any less or any more than me. We're all in this boat of sobriety together. So now that I've said that, that's the part of the story that everyone knows. So now everyone had pretty well given up hope on me. Tanya was the only one that stuck right by my side. So she was the only one that was really, truly there. So when I went to my first meeting, she was the first one I talked to after the meeting. When I started going through withdrawals, she was right there. She would hold me when I would be experiencing withdrawals from alcohol, hurting. I couldn't hardly see straight. And I would be there crying because of the amount of pain I was in. And I would have my head on her shoulder crying because of the pain I was in. And it's like, I just want another drink to make the pain go away, Tanya. And she's like, Prince Magnum, you've got to stick with me. Don't you dare give up on me. I'm not going to keep going through this with you. She said, I know it hurts, but you got to stay with me. She said, you know that I love you. She said, don't you dare give up on me. You've got to stay sober. So I went through this and I hung in there. She was the only one that was right there with me. And at the time, Tanya was going through a divorce. And she was actually dating my best friend at the time. So I didn't say anything, but I was going through this whole thing where I fell in love with her. I actually fell in love with this woman because I really got to see what a wonderful, wonderful woman she was. And, I'm going through the steps and everything, and she's reminding me to continue to just keep being myself. Outside of an AA meeting, she was my only support. My only support. Thank you all so much. I see 10 likes up there, and I'm sure the number's going to start climbing. Thank you so much. So as it continues on, hey, what's going on, Simon? Midnight Cool, welcome to the live stream. So good to see you. Mikey G, Queen Bee, wonderful, wonderful people. So in the process of this, like I said, I fell in love with this wonderful woman. Hey, what's going on, Tago? Good to see you, buddy. There you go. There you go. And if any of y'all got links to drop in here, your channel, someone you know, no, not tonight. We're not, I'm not raiding tonight. But if any of y'all got any links you want to get out there into the community, drop them in the chat. Feel right at home doing it, okay? If you're in blue, you know what to do, all right? Grab those links and start dropping them. It's perfectly okay. I'm not one of those guys. So basically, Tanya, continued to support me. All my friends, no one, so outside of an AA meeting, Tanya was it. Well, in the process of this, I'm getting close to my fourth step. I'm celebrating, 1 month. And, she was just there. She was my rock. Thank you so much, Tago. Appreciate that. There you go, Queen. So basically what ends up happening, thank you, Tago. I appreciate that. Thank you. What ends up happening, I'm now staring down the gun at a month and a half sober. And this, basically it starts turning into where, it's time for my fourth step. And, I've got these serious feelings, and I wasn't going to start that fourth step till I talked to Tanya. This is on a Tuesday. I call her up, say, hey, there's some things I need to talk to you about. And I started laying it out, basically, I didn't quite say the words that I was in love with her, but I started laying it out for her. So she knew there was some feelings there. I started telling her how wonderful she was and how she was such a special woman and just all these things like this. I'm really laying it out there. And it was all from the heart anyway, so it was really easy to just talk from the heart. So I'm laying this out and I'm explaining, and I'm just, I'm pouring my heart out to her. But I didn't quite say the words that I was in love with her. I wanted to, but I was scared to. I really wanted to tell her. That, and again, she was dating my best friend. I'd done enough damage for one lifetime. Thank you guys so much for those likes. So what ends up happening is, this is on a Tuesday. She goes and she tells our director of nursing that, she said, I'm dating, Prince Magnum's best friend, and I think I might have made a mistake. Not saying anything bad about him, but she's like, I think I'm supposed to be with somebody else. And it was left there. That was on a Wednesday. By Friday, she's in the hospital with what looks like pneumonia. Now, please note how I said that. So she was such a special woman that the entire evening shift, including charge nurses, at the end of our shift, clocked out, and we went over to the ER hospital and sat in the waiting room waiting to see if we could see her. We didn't get to that night, but we all sat there till like 3 o'clock in the morning waiting to see if we could see her. But that didn't happen that way. The next day, I ended up working something like 18 hours. It was ridiculous. And I clocked out and I told him, I said, screw you, because in the process of that, my best friend calls me and says, hey, Tanya's asking to talk to you. She needs to talk to you about something, but she won't tell me what it is. She just said she needed to see you. I said, all right, brother. I'll go up tomorrow. So I told work to fuck all, excuse my language to all the ladies in the chat. But I basically told, told work, you know what, screw you guys. I need to go see somebody. So um, I'm like, well, she's in the hospital. I'm just going to go ahead and tell her, you know, she's in ICU. I'm just going to go, right, exactly. So I put on this nice looking outfit, nice button down shirt. I still have the button down shirt all these years later. I keep it nice as I can keep it, It's nice black silk, shirt, button down shirt with white Oriental dragons all over. Good looking shirt too. So then, I put on these black jeans and I'm all duded up. Went out, bought her a dozen of roses, go over to the hospital. I'm going to tell her how I feel. And I get to the door to see if I can be rung back. Right. I get to the door to go back to see her, and her older sister comes out and says, Prince Magnum, you can't go back and see her. I said, what's up? And they said, Tanya died twice earlier this morning. She died twice, and they brought her back. She's in a coma right now. You can't go back and see her. I was stunned. Folks. I stood there for probably a couple of minutes just trying to take that in. I was in shock. So I went into the waiting room, sat down, still holding the dozen of roses, all dressed up, and I didn't know what to do. I just sat there in a daze. Well, her dad comes up and he says, who are you? And I told him who I was, and he said, are you here for Tanya? I said, yes. How do you know her? And I said, well, we work together. Hey, what's going on, Kevin Myers? Welcome to the live stream, my friend. I said, I work with her. And he said, oh, okay, so you're friends with her. Okay, that's cool, man. And I said, sir, may I ask who you are? He said, well, I'm Tanya's dad. And I quickly jumped to my feet and I said, sir, let me shake the hand of the man whose daughter saved my life. And he said, excuse me? So I repeated myself. Let me shake the hand of the man whose daughter saved my life. And he said, what do you mean Tanya saved your life? And I told him my story up to that point. I was only a month and a half sober at that time, folks. Getting ready to start my fourth step. And he says, after I told him who I was, told him my AA story and everything. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate you. He puts his arm around me and he says, son, if there's anything we could get for you, you say the word, we'll do our best. And he kept me pretty close by, the entire time. And I got there right around noon, and I stayed there till 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, I've got to get some rest. I don't live too far from here, so I'm going to go home and I'll rest, but I'll be here at first light. Okay. So I went home, and at 7 o'clock in the morning, I was right back in there. And we get in there at about 15 minutes after 7. And this is now Monday morning. Okay. And her dad sits us all down, and he said, we had a big heart-to-heart with the doctor this morning. We lost Tanya again last night. They brought her back. So she's now died 3 times, and they brought her back. The doctor basically says if Tanya lives through this, she'll be a vegetable for the rest of her life. She will never live a normal life. So we've made the decision, if she goes one more time, we're going to let her go. We will not do this again. She can't keep going on like this. We can't keep doing this to her. And that was a hard pill to swallow. That was a real hard pill to swallow. Afterwards, I went up to him, and he said, it was a tough decision to make, but it was one that was necessary. And I I said, okay. I said, I get it. I get it. I know how she feels. I said, so I get it. Okay. It's perfectly okay. I understand the decision that you made, and I would hate to be in your shoes right now, being dad, having to make that decision about my own daughter. And he said, I'm glad you understand, because a lot of the family's really pissed off at me right now. I said, I get it, man. I get it. So I understand. And he says, how are you holding up to it? I said, I don't like it one damn bit, but it's something I'm going to have to accept. And at this time, I'm definitely in conversations with Sober Man. Every chance I got, I kept him updated. They started letting us go back, and we were told that we were supposed to start saying our goodbyes at that time. We were supposed to tell Tanya if she was tired, she could let go at any time she needed to. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that. That it's time to start, if she's tired, she can let go. That will be okay. Well, it was around 1 o'clock, and they let the close clique of friends, that Tanya had, a friend of mine named Candy, my best friend, and myself, go back. And, my best friend and our friend Candy was on one side of the bed. I was on the other side. I'll never forget seeing all those tubes sticking out of her, and just all the IVs and everything, and the oxygen tubing, and she didn't even look like herself. The life was gone. I picked up her hand. I was actually over on her right side, holding her hand. Her hand was so cold. Nobody else had the courage to say it, so I was the one who had to say, Tanya, if you're tired, you can let go. We'll be okay. In the process of this, I had somehow inherited 2 1-month coins. I put the second one on her chest, and I said, wherever you go, whatever happens, take this with you. Without you, I wouldn't have got it. And we went off to work. At 6 o'clock, they came in. My director of nursing came back. Prince Magnum, I got bad news. Tanya passed away. The hardest part of it all is that she passed away before I had a chance to tell her I was in love with her. She never heard the words. And y'all have to excuse me. It's still so hard to talk about. It's been over 14 years and it's still hard to talk about. And I stayed sober through this. I stayed sober through this whole mess. Right as soon as the funeral was over, where did I go? I went to an AA meeting. I got home, I picked up my 4th step, and I started getting to work on it. I did not give up. Even on her deathbed, I made a promise that people say you should never make. Appreciate that, Kevin. I promised her I was going to be one of those AA winners that you hear about. I promised her on her deathbed. And even after 14 and a half years, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing the dues, but it is still so hard to talk about even after all these years. If there's one thing you take away from this story, is you can stay sober, or you can live through whatever comes down that pipe. You can make it to the other side. That light at the end of the tunnel is not another train. There it is, hope. And if I can stay sober with only a month and a half under my belt through that, you guys can make it through whatever comes down that pipe. If there's anything you take from this live stream tonight, I hope you take that. Because I'll tell you what, it was tough, but I managed to stay sober. I appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you so much. And I know right now there's a lot of people that are like, wow, that is an amazing story. And, it's the honest, it almost sounds like it belongs in a book or a movie or something like that, but it happened for real. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So good to see everyone here. What's going on, TFZ? Good to see you, my man. So that, I know that's a powerful story, but I share it because it's part of me. And my wife knows this story very well, very well. She knows this story just as well as she could repeat this story almost word for word. As a matter of fact, I've even taken my wife to Tanya's gravesite, and my own wife, Princess Faye, has actually left a letter thanking Tanya for saving my life. That is how inspirational that woman is. No question about it. And I've told this story several times in Sober Talk, and I know it hurts, and I break down pretty much every time. This is probably the hardest I've broke down in a while, telling this story. Actually, this is the hardest I've broke down in a while, in several years telling this story, but I always break down telling it. And I'll tell y'all right now, oh no, I hope that all of you are able to pull something from this, to take something away with this, that it is you're facing, whether it's drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever your ism is. I hope that it helps you. And at Days In, I am just as human as everybody else. If you cut me, I bleed. If you tell me I'm a dirtbag, yeah, I'll get upset, but I'll still be hurt underneath, just like everybody else, And I'm open about the fact that as an alcoholic, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. Perfectly okay. It's just part of being who I am. Alcoholics Anonymous has taught me that it's perfectly okay to be this guy right here. And at 3 years sober, I actually learned that it's okay to say I love you to this guy. What's going on, Kavachu? Welcome to the live, my friend. So good to see you. Got to see you in Ian's live stream earlier today, and man, it was so wonderful seeing you. And I'm so glad that you came in to take a little bit of my sober story away with you. Hopefully I can inspire somebody in their life. So again, I hope that, I know that it sounds like it's a real sad story, but the story has a happy ending so far. I'm still sober today. I'm here to tell the story. I'm here to tell the story. It happens, my friend. It happens. The story has a happy ending so far. And, to be able to still tell her story, to tell Tanya's story, to inspire others, that is the biggest happy ending of that story. So, that's just one of those amazing stories, that does have a happy ending, whether you see it or not. I'm still alive, and I have a wonderful wife. I have beautiful children, and I'm still sober. I'm here to tell the story. That is truly, truly awesome. Welcome back, Queen Bee. It's good to see you. It's so good to see you all. Um, for the record, my wife has never seen me drunk. But one of my favorite stories in sobriety, my wife actually got to see me at an AA area assembly. It's where because where I live, basically half of Missouri comes together and conducts business for Alcoholics Anonymous. The business meeting, I got to be there and be a part of that on several occasions, and was actually serving as part of that whole assembly. I mean, as an actual active member, it was so exciting. And my wife got to watch me stand in front of like 270 other alcoholics in recovery, just talking for 5 minutes, telling some of my story. And I still, every once in a while, will have people come up and say, Prince Magnum, I was there that day. You, you said things that inspired me, and you got me involved in AA service work. And because of you, I've learned a whole nother avenue of sobriety. Thank you for doing that. I'm like, you actually remember what I said? Shoot. I have to, go by verbatim on that whole thing, it doesn't quite work the way that it does, uh, you know, my, I had a stroke, back in like, 2000, like 2012, 2011, 2012. And, not too long after, actually, wasn't too long after my 31st birthday, and the mind's not, there's times that it's not as sharp as it is, Yeah, I have my moments. Oh, thank you so much, Cavachu. Doesn't matter when you drop it, it's just always appreciated when you do. That's so amazing of you, you know. So, that if y'all ever wonder, why, every once in a while I'll be talking and all of a sudden I'll kind of drift off. That's just part of that stroke, but I still hold it together. Again, living through that stroke, came out on the other side and managed to stay sober. 31 years old and I had a freaking stroke. I'm like, this is for people in their 70s or 80s, man. Not for guys like me. It happens, you know, and, live through that. Live through that. For the record, before I got sober, I discovered that I was allergic to alcohol. For those of you out there who suffer from alcoholism, drug addiction, whatever your ism is, I was allergic to alcohol. Every time I drank alcohol, I broke out in spots. Farmington, Park Hills. At one time, I showed up in Peevely, Fredericktown, Ironton. You guys get the idea. Broke out in spots. Get it? I remember a story from when I was still drinking. I show I remember sitting there listening to Eric Clapton's Cocaine, drinking Wild Turkey 101. And the next thing I remember, I'm behind the wheel of my 1977 Oldsmobile Delta A88 with my drinking buddy in the passenger seat, on the other side of me, his girlfriend right behind him, and a gal that I knew from high school, but this. But I wasn't with her. I hope I didn't do anything with her that night. I don't think I did. I was in a black. I remember pulling in this parking spot and saying, we're here, and I had no idea where the hell here was. That's a Peevely flea market. I don't think that flea market's there anymore. For the record, when I was a kid and my mom was talking about going to a flea market, where some of you, here in Missouri, a flea market is what some of you all will call a swap meet. They call it a flea market here. And the first time I heard that term when I was a kid, I told my mom, that's where they go to sell fleas, right, Mom? And immediately, I was thinking of like the flea circus from cartoons. I thought that was cute when I was a kid. It was kind of a cute joke when I was a kid. You all got kids, you'll have to tell them that joke. Anyhow, but yeah, true stories. Again, I remember one time I was drinking, which there was a lot of those. This one time I was drinking. Um, you know, uh, that same Oldsmobile that I had, I would pass out. I would drink to the point where I would pass out, and I'd wake up in weird places on that car. I remember several times waking up on sprawled out on the hood of the car, just kind of like that. A couple of times on the trunk lid. One time I managed to get all the way up onto the rooftop. Thank goodness I'm not a big guy. I had a dented in that steel on the top. But then there's this one particular time I came to underneath the car, staring at the transmission pan, and my feet were down by the rear end. I have no idea how I got there. Not a clue to this day how in the world I got there. But I came to and I looked up, said, "There's a leak right there," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, how the fuck did I get here?" Double check and make sure the chat is still there. We go. So again, it's just one of those things that, I mean, the strange places. That's why I'm really glad I got sober, because I always came to in strange places, and I hated that. What's going on, MLG? Welcome to the live stream, my friend. Now, I know many of our Sonnies are talking about getting together for like a convention this next year, and they all ask me, Prince Magnum, we know that you're in recovery. If any of us decide we want to have a drink, shoot, man, we'll go out to the freaking bar. I don't care. I just won't drink with you. I'm sure they serve soda, tea, orange juice, right? I've gone shopping drunk before. That was strange. I went shopping drunk before. Showed up in a Walmart. Remember buying weird stuff when I was drunk. Not a good thing. Not a good thing, folks. You didn't put money in my pocket and send me out drunk. I come back with weird stuff. So yeah, true story. True stories there. Another one of my favorite stories, and I haven't told this one in a little while. My mother-in-law, Princess Faye's mom, had actually came and heard me as a speaker. And when I told the story of Tanya, she cried with me. It was a wonderful meeting. And, my mother-in-law, oh, I love my mother-in-law. She's a sweetheart. I consider my mother-in-law one of my gifts in sobriety. I love my mother-in-law. And I know that sounds strange. For some of you who are married, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of us out there who are married don't exactly get along with the mother-in-law very well. You know what I mean? Come on, husbands out there, even wives, or however it works in your marriage. It's a new age. It's a new age. You don't always get along with the mother-in-law. Can't stand them, Yeah, see what I mean? In my particular case, I love my mother-in-law very much. Even on Mother's Day, I will do videos for her. My mom and I are still putting things back together. We had a lot of bad stuff happen when I was a teenager. Oh, that bad, huh? Sometimes it's like that. So, nah, I love my mother-in-law. I get a kick out of her. She's a trip. All right, funny story about my mother-in-law. I remember one time when Princess Faye and I used to play World of Warcraft. And for those of you in the gaming community who used to play World of Warcraft, that was actually how I met Princess Faye. That's a whole nother story that I'm going to have to definitely tell in Surviving Romance. Oh my gosh, I'll have to tell that. So now that I've said that, there was one. Oh my God, 8 times last year. My goodness, that woman got to stay out of trouble. That's what's up. But in the case of my my mother-in-law, we were in a group, in a group chat, because we were all in one guild, and all my guild mates, I said something flirtatious to my own mother-in-law, just teasing, and she turned around and said something back, and oh, Now I see why you're here. It makes sense now, MLG. That's what's up. So in this particular case, I would say something flirtatious back to my mother-in-law, and she would say something to me, and it just kept going back and forth. Well, Princess Faye was there, and if this is how it looked, I would say something, and she'd go, "Honey," and then her mom would say something, and she's like, "Mama," and we kept going. So it was like, "Honey, Mama, honey, Mama," and finally she looks at me and says, "You fucking stop it," you freaking stop that. Not a joke, not a joke there. And then the rest of the guild, the guys in guild actually started in too, and it was really, really hilarious. Funny stuff. So I'm very fortunate in sobriety that I have a wonderful, wonderful mother-in-law. Um, you know, again, my mother-in-law has never seen me drunk. Never seen me drunk. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. She's seen me have some struggles, but she's never seen me drunk. And believe me when I say, I thank the God of my understanding. Oh my goodness. Taking her, best thing to do, let her drink till she passes out. That's best to do. Just let her pass out. Much easier to deal with when they're hung over. Matter of fact, here's a little secret right out of AA's 12th step book, if you will. Because we actually have ways of kind of guiding family members in helping them deal with loved ones, help them get, maybe consider Alcoholics Anonymous. What you do is you go get a copy of what is known as the Big Book. It's just a big blue book, self-titled Alcoholics Anonymous. And then what you do is when they come to, when they come to and they're all hung over, just leave the book on the coffee table. That's it. Just leave it there. They'll get curious enough. They'll pick it up. And either A, they'll start reading a little bit of it, or B, they'll see what the title is, they'll put it back down. But it's still there. Just leave it there. Don't bother with it. Let it collect dust if you want, okay? Let it collect some dust. Let it lie there. Why do you have this book? Oh, I've just been reading it. Heard it was good reading material. Oh my gosh. That's bad news. Bad news. So just just pull that little stunt. Just leave it out on the coffee table, or where she'll see it. And if she gets curious enough, she'll pick it up. But do that right after she's hung over, and I promise you, she'll eventually pick it up. Trust me on that one. As a matter of fact, every once in a while, Princess Faye will lay something out that I know I should be reading, and it'll be looking at me long enough. Oh my gosh, that's funny. And just leave it there. Eventually, I'll pick it up. Yeah. And it's hard to watch loved ones sink down that drain. And here's the thing that I will remind everyone. If you suffer from alcoholism, in reality, we're just sick. It's not that it's a lack of moral fiber or a lack of, self-control. We're sick with a disease that we know is alcoholism. In the Big Book, I hate the term that they use. They compare it to cancer. That's not accurate. I would compare it to more of like an obsessive compulsive disorder with depression thrown in. That's how I would equate it. We have this unusual compulsion to pick up that next drink. That's why I always say I'm one arm bend away from the man I used to be. I'm always one arm bend away. Shoot, cost you hundreds of thousands. Trust me, she's suffering from an illness. Honestly, next time she gets into trouble, don't bail her out. Let her figure it out on her own. When you pull that plug away, and I know the wife will get mad, But just explain it to her like this, and you can even tell her I said it. You even want, I'll even explain it to her. Okay, you know how to get a hold of me. But if you take that lifeline away and they realize that there's no way out, they're in trouble, it makes it real. Wow, that is some expensive booze to be polishing off like that. Take that lifeline away, okay? Let her hit that wall and let her figure it out. That's what it took for me. And that's what it took for a lot of us. That's why a lot of people sometimes think that you got to end up in with a bunch of DWIs or DUIs or whatever before they'll send that they think that's how you get into AA. No, it isn't. You just got to have a problem with alcohol. Like it ends up in jail. Okay, I'm one of them. It's it's just one of those. I've seen one of them. It's nothing against drunk streams. And I could sit through some, but sometimes I just don't feel like do it. And sometimes it's a little hard for me because it takes me back to a time I really don't like to. I know I got to revisit it sometime. But I like to do it on my terms. So it's one of those things that doing it on my terms is one thing, but doing it on somebody else's is another. You know. What? Oh, good morning, Gavin John from Japan. I know you're all the way over there in good old Tokyo. It's good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Gavin John's another one of the dear friends within the Maverick Nation. Definitely worth checking out. If you do not know him, you do need to get to know him. You know. Oh yeah, I seen a little bit of that. He's funny guy. Funny guy. Uh, there you go. Yeah, we got people from all over the world right now. Isn't that awesome? Hearing me talk about sobriety, my experience, strength, and hope from the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Believe me, again, I'm very grateful to be sober. I'm glad that you were all here. Now, I need to talk briefly right now, even if you're not saying a whole lot in the chat, but I know that you're there, okay? That's perfectly fine. You're supporting this guy right here. You're helping me stay sober. So I know some of you are going through some serious, serious pain, and you don't feel like you're of any use to anybody, and you just don't think you're worth anything. Let me put your mind at ease. You're helping me stay sober today. You're helping me save my life. You're part of my story now. And who knows how many people are going to be touched by what we're talking about in here. What's going on, Supreme? Welcome to the live stream, my friend. So good to see you today. You know, you guys are helping me stay sober, and you're helping me, grab that next 24 hours and make the best of it and live it up to the hilt. You are part. I understand. It's all good. It's all good, brother. You know, uh, you know, you guys are part of my life now. You're part of what helps me stay sober today. So if you didn't think that you were worth anything, you are worth something to me. And who knows again how many people could end up watching the playback. Who knows how many people you are touching just by being here with me. Hey, I understand. There's people like that out there. So you guys are part of my life. You're part of helping me stay sober. Think about that for a second. You are worth something. You are important. You serve a purpose today, even if it's just sitting here in this live stream. Yeah, he brought that up. Yeah, you're drinking yeah, that was funny. You are helping me stay sober today. You are important. The higher power of my understanding that I don't fully understand does not create junk. So you are not junk. You are important. You are part of my life. You're helping me reach out and help other people, whoever they may be. So take that, take that to heart. Keep that, there you go. Go for it. Have one for me while you're at it. Big shout out to Press Magnum. There you go. You know, so you guys are important to me. You guys are special to me. It's a reminder to all of you that you're helping me stay sober. Sobriety to me is life. If I drink again, who knows where I will be, you know? Who knows where I can end up? You guys are important to me. So, take that to heart. Keep that right down here, okay? Keep it deep right here. Whatever's eating your lunch today, whatever's tearing you apart on the inside and just tearing you up. Keep that in mind that you are important to me. And indirectly you're important to so many others. Isn't that amazing? How one little thing that you could do can touch so many lives. That is amazing. And that is the power of Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh, no. Thank you, Kevin, for being here. Thank you for being here and sharing your support to me and showing that love for the community. We need you too, Kevin. We love you very much. Give that nephew of yours a big, big, giant hug for me. And again, you guys are special. You guys are amazing. I love each and every one of you in your own special way. And again, that's the power of Alcoholics Anonymous. I know some people, have bad things to say about AA, but to me, there you go, Mike G. To me, it's what saved my life. And some people can't get sober through Alcoholics Anonymous, but I will say that AA does. Oh, you're welcome, Kavachu. It was wonderful to be able to jump into your live stream and show some love. It was absolutely fantastic. I had a great time coming in and saying hi and bringing the Maverick Nation over and being able to support you too. Actually, that's not 100% accurate. Members of Alcoholics Anonymous don't swear off. We don't quit forever. We just say that we're not going to drink today. So that is how it is. By the way, when I got up this morning, I was supposed to get drunk, but I decided I wasn't going to. I'd have to wait in line and I'd have to put on a mask because I'm going out into public. Screw it. I'll do it tomorrow. So one thing I'm still good at is procrastination. So for the record, I'm supposed to get drunk tomorrow, but I got a funny feeling I'm going to put it off till, Saturday. And probably Saturday, I'll probably say the same thing and put it off till the next day. Just one of them things, By the way, I've been putting off getting drunk for the last 14 and a half years. That's really interesting, isn't it? So I've been putting off getting drunk for 14 and a half years. So I guess I'm just going to keep putting it off, just one of them things, but that's one of those things. You like the logic, huh? I remember a time when Missouri was a dry area. You couldn't buy alcohol on Sunday. That's funny, comedy. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know if that'll work for your room. That might not be a good thing. Thank you so much, Think Different. Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate all of you. You guys are awesome. You guys are the legends here on the Prince Magnum channel. You guys are amazing. again, continuing to support this good old drunk, you know, and I appreciate every last one of you. Right now, currently, a friend of mine in the Sunnies is live, and just based on what, that's what you would do. One of my friends in the Sunnies is live, and she's doing her midnight snacker. So if you're an adult and you want to get over there and show some love to a dear sweet friend of mine, good old, we're still live. You never know what's going to be in her live stream. It's so much fun. What she'll be talking about. She'll do like a game night. It's her something like midnight snackers or something like that. Game night, and it's so much fun because even if you're not talking, you're still hearing some pretty dirty stuff that comes out in that meeting. As a matter of fact, I've been in there and seen some of you all saying some pretty dirty stuff. you know, yeah, you'll hear me. Actually, I remember a time when there was. There you go, Sean. So I think Sean's going to go over and grab Jamie's link, and we're gonna go ahead and start winding it down for the night. I have to admit, I've got a massive headache from editing videos all day today. So I got a massive, massive headache. So I'll be in there, but I won't be saying a whole lot. So I definitely want us to, if we can, get over there. A little bit of dirty humor goes a long ways. I'm still dirty minded. Prince Magnum, it's YouTube, not Pornhub. Anyhow, but I remember a time before Google bought out YouTube, you could actually go into YouTube and watch porn. That's been years ago, though. That's been many years ago. That's right. Think different. See what I mean? We all a little dirty in this stream. It's okay though. Vacation's been going wonderful. I will admit, since Princess Faye's home visiting her family, she went back to her state to visit some family. I miss my wife. I really miss my wife. I love her so much. I miss her right now. It's tearing me apart. But I've been trying to stay active in the sunnies and in with the eclipses and editing and hanging out with all of you in the gaming community. You guys in the Maverick Nation have been really keeping me propped up. And I know I got to go stop by work tomorrow and find out what next week's schedule looks like. It looks like a schedule, Prince Magnum, but I pretty well know. I think Sunday I'll be working. Right? Yeah, I remember those days. I remember those days. And YouTube was a different community back then. It really was. Some ways, I kind of wish we'd go back to that. It was simpler times, or at least rewind the clock about 5 years. Honestly, for YouTube, rewind that clock about 5 years, and we'd be in good shape. But I'd still like to keep my support level. You know, it'd be a better time. So as soon as Sean gets back, I think he's going to bring over the link for Jamie's channel. She was here earlier, but she was going to be going live, and I would definitely like us to go over there and show a little bit of love and support to a dear friend of mine. Again, Jamie's just a fantastic, fantastic YouTuber, puts out amazing, amazing content, and she's actually the leader of the Sunnies group and working very closely with Ron. Yeah, I've got a massive headache and I need to go take care of me. I'm probably going to have to lie down a little early tonight. I just had a horrible, horrible headache looking at a computer screen all day. I want to stay going longer, but I just can't do it. It's a little too much. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Because I've got an idea for one. I've got an idea for one already, but I'm curious what you're thinking I should do. I know what I've considered doing is going over to a spot that does karaoke, getting on stage. Yeah, I'm sorry, think different. It's just it's too much to ask of me right now to stay going that long. Oh no, no, no! It's cold gin time again. But no, I've got this massive headache, and I just can't look at another bright screen for too much longer. Um, so I know I'm going to definitely go over. Yeah. Um, back, Sean, did you grab Jamie's link? I'm gonna say if you grabbed her link, that'd be huge. You know, was it? Yeah, and I know you're still nursing that shoulder. I know you're still nursing that shoulder. You messed up your shoulder good, TFC. Yeah, would you? We're going to go ahead and shut down for the night. I've got this massive headache, but I still want to go in and support Jamie. So why don't we just go ahead and end it? There you go, Cavachu. Yeah, just I thought you were grabbing the link, but would you do the honors, Sean? Grab that link, drop it in the chat. Actually, I'm going to do. I'm actually going to sing "It's a Miracle" by Culture Club. And the reason why I'm going to do that one is because of the fact that at the time when Culture Club got all of their gold records and was pretty well going platinum, there you go, Sean. Believe it or not, that's when they did that that song and that music video. So, I thought it would be, yeah, it doesn't exactly fit the channel. Doesn't exactly fit in this case. But, it would, that'll still work for me. All right. So that does bring us to a good stopping point. Again, thank you all for being here with me tonight and sharing yet another 24 hours. There you go. You're healing up. Just going to take you a minute. So again, if you're above the age of 18, be sure to get over there to that, grab that link that Sean just posted and get over there and show some love to a dear friend of mine right here on YouTube. Well, that would be a good one too. Then I'll have to look at it. I'll have to look at it. But but I've got my heart set on this one. All right. So that does bring us to a good stopping point. Again, as a reminder to all of you, you are all very special to me. I love every last one of you in your own personal way. So, uh, it is tradition for us to go out in a certain way in Sober Talk Live. So I will say to all of you, at day's end, I hope all of you need me as much as I need you. And with that being said, if nobody has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.